My husband of 8 years told me he wanted a hall pass for his birthday. When I said no, I discovered he'd already booked a room with my best friend. Now they're both begging for forgiveness after she got pregnant, but the baby isn't even his. My whole world came crashing down 3 weeks ago when I discovered that my husband Jason, the man I've loved and trusted for the past 8 years, betrayed me in the most devastating way possible. I still can't believe I'm writing this, but I need to get it off my chest because I feel like I'm drowning in my own thoughts. Jason and I met in college. We were the couple everyone envied, best friends who fell in love, built a life together and genuinely enjoyed each other's company. We got married right after graduation and have spent the last 8 years building what I thought was a rock-solid marriage. We bought our dream home 2 years ago, have good careers and we're planning to start trying for a baby this year. At least that's what I thought. For context, my best friend Melissa has been in my life since high school. She was my maid of honor at our wedding, has been there for every birthday, every celebration, every heartbreak. She's practically family. In fact, she spends so much time at our house that Jason often jokes that we have a permanent house guest. I never once thought I had anything to worry about with them. The betrayal started with something that seemed so innocent. Jason's 30th birthday was coming up, and he started dropping hints about wanting to do something different this year. I assumed he meant a big party or maybe a weekend trip. I was even planning a surprise gathering with all his friends. Then last Friday we were having dinner when he casually mentioned the concept of a hall pass. You know, that ridiculous idea where you get permission to sleep with someone else just once. I laughed it off at first, thinking he was joking, but his expression remained serious. "I've been thinking about it a lot, Emma," he said. "It's my 30th birthday and I feel like I'm getting older without having experienced certain things. It would just be this one time." I was stunned into silence. Was this really happening? Was my husband of 8 years actually asking for permission to cheat on me? When I asked who he even had in mind, he looked down at his plate and mumbled that it didn't matter. It was just a hypothetical situation. "It's not hypothetical if you're bringing it up like this," I told him. "Who is it, Jason?" He refused to answer, which only made me more suspicious. That night he slept on the couch and I spent hours staring at the ceiling, wondering what was happening to my marriage. The next morning, while Jason was in the shower, something compelled me to check his phone. We've always had an open phone policy. Nothing to hide, right? As I scrolled through his messages, my heart stopped. There were dozens of texts between him and Melissa, my best friend, spanning back over 2 months. The messages started innocently enough, just friendly banter, but they quickly evolved into something more intimate. They talked about me, about our marriage, about how they both felt guilty but couldn't deny their connection. The most recent message was from Jason, sent just yesterday. She said no to the hall pass idea and he responded, "I'll have to think of another way, but the hotel room is still booked for Friday." My hands were shaking so badly I nearly dropped the phone. They had already booked a hotel room. My husband and my best friend were planning to sleep together, and the only reason they hadn't yet was that they wanted my permission first, as if that would make it okay. Out of the shower, I confronted him immediately, showing him the messages. His face went pale and instead of denying it, he started defending himself. "Emma, I was going to tell you everything," he insisted. "That's why I brought up the hall pass. I didn't want to go behind your back." "But you already did," I screamed. "You've been having an emotional affair with my best friend for months. You booked a hotel room." He had the audacity to tell me that nothing physical had happened yet, as if that made it better. He claimed they had only kissed once after they both had too much to drink at a dinner party last month. A dinner party I had to miss because I was taking care of my sick mother. "It just happened, Emma," he said. "We didn't plan it, but after that we couldn't stop thinking about each other. We tried to fight it, but there's something between us that's just different." Different. That word cut through me like a knife. What did he mean by different? Was I not enough? Had I never been enough? I asked him to leave. I couldn't bear to look at him anymore. He begged to stay and talk it through, but I was firm. I needed space, time to think without him trying to justify his betrayal. Reluctantly, he packed a bag and left, saying he'd stay with his brother. The moment he was gone, I called Melissa. My hands were shaking as I dialed her number, part of me hoping that somehow this was all a misunderstanding, that Jason had been texting someone else using her name. But when she answered, her voice was small, guilty. "Emma, I'm so sorry," she began, already crying. "I never meant for this to happen. You have to believe me. Were you going to sleep with my husband this Friday?" I asked bluntly. Her silence was all the confirmation I needed. How could you? I cried. You're supposed to be my best friend. It just happened, she echoed Jason's words. We didn't plan it. After that kiss we tried to stop, but there was this connection. Stop, I cut her off. I don't want to hear about your connection with my husband. You both betrayed me in the worst possible way. She tried to explain more, but I hung up. I couldn't handle hearing her excuses. For the next few days, both Jason and Melissa bombarded me with calls, texts, and emails. They both wanted to explain, to apologize, to make things right. But how do you make something like this right? How do you rebuild trust after it's been so completely shattered? Jason came by to collect more of his things, and I forced myself to have a conversation with him. I needed answers. Was it worth it? I asked him. Was throwing away 8 years of marriage worth a fling with my best friend? It wasn't just a fling, he said quietly. I think I'm in love with her. Those words knocked the wind out of me. But he loved her? When had this happened? How had I not seen it? Had I been blind this entire time? How long have you felt this way? I managed to ask. He shrugged, looking ashamed. I don't know. It happened gradually. We started talking more when you were busy with work last year, and things just evolved. Last year, when I had taken on a huge project at work that kept me late at the office for months, while I was building my career, my husband and best friend were building a relationship behind my back. I want a divorce, I told him firmly. I can't come back from this. He didn't fight me on it. Perhaps he'd already made his choice. Melissa, not me. Update 1. It's been 2 weeks since I discovered my husband's betrayal, and I'm still struggling to make sense of it all. After our last conversation, Jason moved the rest of his things out of our house and into Melissa's apartment. They didn't even wait a decent interval before making their relationship public. According to mutual friends, they're already posting couple pictures on social media, as if the past 8 years of my life meant nothing. I've blocked both of them on all platforms, but news still reaches me. It's like people can't help but tell me, thinking they're somehow helping by keeping me informed. They're not. My mom has been my rock through all of this. She moved in temporarily to help me cope, and I don't know what I'd do without her. She's the one who convinced me to see a therapist, and it's been helping me process my feelings. You didn't do anything wrong, my therapist keeps telling me. Their choices are a reflection of them, not you. I'm trying to believe that, but it's hard when you're alone in what used to be your marital bed, wondering what you could have done differently. Should I have noticed the signs? Were there signs? I've been replaying our last few months together in my mind, looking for clues I might have missed. Yesterday, I finally gathered the courage to start the divorce proceedings. I contacted a lawyer who came highly recommended by a colleague. She was compassionate but firm, exactly what I need right now. She assured me that given the circumstances, the process should be straightforward, especially since we don't have children. The house might be complicated, she warned, but given the adultery, we have a strong case. If you want to keep it. I do want to keep the house, not because I'm attached to it anymore. Every room holds memories I'd rather forget, but because selling it and finding somewhere new feels overwhelming right now. One step at a time, I tell myself. The hardest part has been the loneliness. I've lost not just my husband but also my best friend in one fell swoop. Our social circle has largely sided with me, but there's an awkwardness now. People don't know what to say, how to act around me. I've become that pitiable figure, the woman whose husband left her for her best friend. It's humiliating. I've thrown myself into work, staying late at the office every night. Better to be busy than alone with my thoughts. My boss has been understanding, even offering me a larger role in an upcoming project. At least my career is going well, I suppose. I've also started purging the house of reminders. Last weekend, I took down all our wedding photos, packed away gifts they'd given us over the years, and deleted most of our pictures from my phone. It's like I'm erasing 8 years of my life, and while it's painful, it also feels necessary for my healing. The one bright spot in all of this has been reconnecting with old friends who had drifted away during my marriage, particularly my college roommate Jenna, who now lives just an hour away. We've started having weekly dinners, and her unwavering support has been a lifeline. You're going to come out of this stronger, she keeps telling me. And one day you'll find someone who deserves you. I can't imagine dating again right now, but it's nice to know someone believes there might be a future for me beyond this pain. For now, I'm taking it one day at a time. Some days are better than others. Today was hard, tomorrow might be easier. That's all I can hope for. Update 2. 3 months have passed since my world imploded, and life has settled into a new kind of normal. The divorce proceedings are underway, and while it's all very civil on paper, the emotional toll continues to be heavy. The biggest development is that I've decided to sell the house after all. Every corner of it reminds me of Jason, of the life we built and the future we planned. My mom helped me find a smaller place closer to the city, and I'm actually excited about decorating it exactly how I want. No more compromising on paint colors or furniture styles. It's a small freedom, but I'm clinging to these little victories. What I didn't expect was a call from Jason last week. He sounded different, subdued, nervous. He asked if we could meet in person to discuss something important. Against my better judgment, I agreed to coffee at a neutral location. When I saw him, I was struck by how tired he looked. The initial infatuation glow he'd had when he first left was gone, replaced by dark circles under his eyes and a constant furrow in his brow. "Emma, I made a terrible mistake," he began, his voice cracking. "Leaving you is the worst decision of my life." I sat there stunned as he explained that things with Melissa had quickly fallen apart once the reality of day-to-day life set in. Without the excitement of sneaking around, they discovered they didn't actually have much in common. They fought constantly about money, about household chores, about their different expectations for the future. "She's not you," he said simply. "No one could ever be you." Part of me, a small wounded part that still loved him despite everything, wanted to leap at the second chance. But the stronger part of me, the part that had been rebuilding my self-respect brick by brick for the past 3 months, knew better. "Why are you telling me this?" I asked. "What do you want from me, Jason?" He reached across the table, trying to take my hand. I pulled away. "I want to come home," he whispered. "I want us to try again. I know I don't deserve it, but I'm begging you to consider it." I shook my head, feeling strangely calm. "You're right," I said. "You don't deserve it. And I deserve better than someone who threw away our marriage for a fling." "It wasn't just a fling," he insisted, then seemed to realize that was the wrong thing to say. "I mean, it was a mistake. A horrible mistake that I will regret for the rest of my life." "A mistake is forgetting to pick up milk at the store," I told him. "What you did was a choice. Multiple choices made over and over again, knowing they would hurt me." He had no response to that. As I stood to leave, he called after me. "There's something else you should know. Melissa is pregnant." I froze, feeling as though I'd been doused with ice water. Pregnant. They were having a baby. The future we planned together, he was now building with her. "Congratulations," I managed to say, though the word tasted bitter on my tongue. I walked away, made it to my car before the tears came, hot and angry. Just when I thought I was healing, just when I was starting to envision a future without him, this news threatened to set me back to square one. A baby, an actual child that would permanently bind my ex-husband to my ex-best friend. The thought was almost too much to bear. I called Jenna immediately, needing someone to talk me down from the ledge of despair I was teetering on. She came over with wine and chocolate, and we stayed up late into the night as I alternated between crying and raging. "This doesn't change anything," she reminded me. "You're still better off without both of them in your life." She was right, of course, but knowing I was better off didn't make the pain any less acute. The next morning, I woke up to several missed calls from Jason and a text that simply read, "There's more you need to know, please call me." I ignored it. Whatever drama was happening in their relationship wasn't my problem anymore. I had a house to sell, a new place to move into, and a life to rebuild. I didn't have time for their chaos. But Jason was persistent. He showed up at my work looking even more disheveled than before. "Melissa lied," he blurted out before I could ask him to leave. "The baby isn't mine." I never thought my life would turn into a soap opera, but here we are. After Jason's bombshell revelation that Melissa's baby wasn't his, I reluctantly agreed to hear the full story. We sat in my car in the parking garage, away from curious eyes at my workplace. According to Jason, Melissa had been seeing someone else at the same time their affair began, a married colleague from her office. When she discovered she was pregnant, she assumed it was Jason since they had been careless about protection. But a recent paternity test confirmed it wasn't his child. "She lied to me, Emma," he said, his voice breaking. "She told me it was definitely mine, that we were going to be a family. I even started looking at houses with nurseries." I couldn't help but feel a twisted sense of satisfaction. The two people who had hurt me the most were now hurting each other. Karma, it seemed, was real. What does the actual father say? I asked, curious despite myself. Jason let out a bitter laugh. He wants nothing to do with it. He's trying to save his own marriage and has threatened Melissa with a restraining order if she contacts him again. I shook my head, amazed at the mess they created. So what now? Why are you telling me all this? His eyes met mine, filled with a desperate hope that made my stomach clench. Because I want you back, Emma. Now more than ever. These past few months have shown me exactly what I threw away. There it was, the reason for his confession, his true motive. He thought that without the baby tying him to Melissa, there was a chance for us, that I might forgive his betrayal. Now that there isn't a child involved. Jason, I said slowly, making sure each word landed with the weight it deserved. Even if there was no baby, even if Melissa disappeared tomorrow, we would still be done. You destroyed something that can't be rebuilt. I don't trust you, and without trust there is no us. His face crumpled, but I continued, needing to say what I'd been holding back for months. You didn't just cheat on me. You did it with my best friend. You conspired with her, planned with her, booked hotel rooms while I was none the wiser. That level of betrayal doesn't just go away because your relationship with her didn't work out. I know, he whispered. I know what I did was unforgivable, but I also know that what we had was real. 8 years, Emma. Doesn't that count for something? It counted for everything, I replied, feeling the familiar sting of tears. That's why what you did hurt so much. But it's over now. Please respect that. He left eventually, shoulders slumped, defeated. Part of me felt sorry for him. He'd lost everything and gained nothing. But the stronger part of me knew I'd made the right decision. His actions had consequences, and this was one of them. The next day, to my surprise, Melissa showed up at my door. I hadn't seen her since before the affair came to light, and the sight of her, visibly pregnant and tear-stained, hit me harder than I expected. Please, she begged when I tried to close the door. I know I have no right to ask for your time, but I need to explain. Against my better judgment, I let her in. She sat on the edge of my couch, looking around at the half-packed boxes as evidence of my imminent move. Jason told you about the baby. She said it wasn't a question. I nodded, keeping my distance. He did. I didn't know, she insisted, her hands resting protectively over her rounded stomach. When I found out I was pregnant, I genuinely thought it was his. I wasn't trying to trap him or anything like that. Why are you here, Melissa? What do you want from me? She wiped away a tear. Forgiveness, I guess, though I know I don't deserve it. I've lost everything. My reputation, the father of my child, Jason, and worst of all, you, my best friend. You didn't lose me, I said coldly. You threw me away. There's a difference. She flinched but nodded. You're right. I did. And I will regret it for the rest of my life. We sat in silence for a moment, the weight of everything that had happened between us filling the room. What will you do now? I finally asked, not out of care but curiosity. My parents have offered to let me move back home until after the baby comes, she said. I'll probably take them up on it. Start over somewhere new after that. I felt a flicker of something. Not forgiveness, not yet, but perhaps the first seed of closure. I hope things work out for your child, I said honestly. They didn't ask to be born into this situation. She thanked me, understanding that my well wishes extended only to her innocent baby, not to her. As she left, she turned back one last time. You know, he really does love you. He never loved me the way he loves you. I couldn't help but laugh, though there was no humor in it. If that's what his love looks like, I'm better off without it. After she left, I sat among my boxes, thinking about everything that had happened. 3 months ago, I thought my life was over. I thought I'd never recover from the pain of their betrayal. But sitting there, I realized something important. I was going to be okay. More than okay. Update 3. It's been 1 year since my world was turned upside down, and I'm writing this final update from my new apartment with my new life firmly established. The divorce was finalized 6 months ago, and with it came a sense of freedom I hadn't expected. The house sold quickly, and thanks to my lawyer's skilled negotiation, I walked away with enough money to comfortably set myself up in my new place and even start a small investment portfolio. If there's one thing this experience taught me, it's the importance of financial independence. I've been promoted at work. All those late nights at the office paid off in ways I couldn't have anticipated. My new role comes with more responsibility, better pay, and a flexible schedule that allows me to pursue hobbies that had fallen by the wayside during my marriage. I've rediscovered my love for painting and have even sold a few pieces at a local gallery. As for Jason and Melissa, I've maintained my distance, but news still reaches me through mutual friends. Melissa gave birth to a healthy baby girl 5 months ago. She moved back to her hometown as planned, where her parents are helping her raise the child. From what I've heard, she's struggling but managing. Jason meanwhile spiraled for a while after our divorce. He lost his job, started drinking heavily, and eventually had to move in with his brother. Recently though, I heard he's pulled himself together, found a new position in another city, and started dating someone new. I wish him well genuinely. The anger that once consumed me has faded, replaced by a sort of detached compassion. What happened broke me for a time, but I refuse to let it define me forever. As for my own romantic life, I'm dating again, slowly, cautiously, on my own terms. I met someone a few months ago, a kind, thoughtful man who makes me laugh and respects my boundaries. It's too soon to know where it might lead, but for the first time in a long time, I'm excited about the possibility of a future with someone new. Last week, I ran into Melissa's brother at a grocery store. It was awkward at first, but then he showed me a picture of his niece. She's beautiful with big, curious eyes and a dimpled smile. He told me Melissa is doing better, that motherhood has changed her. Part of me still can't forgive what she did, but another part is glad she's found her way. That innocent child deserves a mother who has her act together. The most surprising contact came 3 days ago. A letter from Jason. No pleas to reconcile this time, no desperate attempts to win me back. Just a sincere apology for everything he put me through and good wishes for my future. He mentioned he's in therapy, working through his issues, trying to understand why he sabotaged our marriage the way he did. The letter ended with a simple sentiment: "You deserve better, and I hope you found it." Reading those words, I felt something shift inside me, the last piece of my healing clicking into place. I don't think I'll respond to his letter. Some doors are better left closed. But I'm grateful for the closure it provided. If there's anything I've learned from this whole ordeal, it's that resilience isn't about never falling. It's about rising every time you fall. A year ago I thought my life was over. Today I know it was just beginning. To anyone who might be going through something similar, who feels like they'll never see the light again, you will. The pain doesn't disappear completely. There are still days when a memory catches me off guard, when I wonder about the life I thought I'd have. But those moments get fewer and farther between. Trust yourself. Protect your peace. And remember that sometimes the most painful endings lead to the most beautiful beginnings. My story isn't over. It's just taking a different path than I expected, and for the first time in a long time, I'm excited to see where it leads.